What's going on, guys? This is a tower number 9, and this time I'm playing Sabine against Vader. Let's see how this goes. So we're going to do a let's see here. It's Green Vader, pretty classic deck. I want to go to space if possible, but it doesn't look like my cards actually support that. So this is going to be turn 1 Lothal Insurgent or else Spec Force Soldier plus Leia. I'm going first. I think I mulligan this hand and hope to get a hand that goes to space. The reason I want to go to space is to negate Energy Conversion Lab plus Super Laser Tech combo. I actually draw a much worse hand with this mulligan, so I am not happy with that. I'm going to be able to just do a Spec Force Soldier, and that's it. That is not a good start. Yeah. That's actually a really bad start, and I'm going to be basically forced into the ground arena. We're going to resource K2 since he's a reach card. We're going to lead off with Spec Force Soldier. My opponent has the Seasoned Shore Trooper. I am unfortunately just going to take the initiative here. Weak start for me, but we'll see if I can recover. So what we're going to do is resource Fighters for Freedom. In order to avoid getting destroyed in the ground, I'm going to go for a Wing Leader, buff my Spec Force Soldier. I would much rather be doing this with a more powerful unit, though. I can potentially be defeated by an Open Fire or by a Forced Choke. And I think there's a good chance we're going to see one of those cards come out and clear my Spec Force Soldier, which will make this a quite rough start to the game. The other option would be to just attack, but I think I have to buff here to prevent just being... Okay, okay, that could be a lot worse. My opponent plays a Cell Block Guard, so what I'm going to do here is use Sabine's ability for 1 to each base. Um, yeah, nice. My opponent attacks the base here, which is an error in my opinion. Then I'm going to have my Spec Force Soldier take out the guard. So my opponent doesn't have an opportunity to ping me with Vader, can ambush me with the ECL, could also have the guy there attack me, but that could have gone a lot worse. Okay, so I want to keep this Leia. Hmm, Normally I want to keep Leia Defiant Princess to exhaust Vader. Hopefully we try to close the game before Vader even deploys, but we haven't done very much early damage with that Cell Block Guard impeding the attack. The question now becomes, do we keep Leia Defiant Princess just to push more out this turn? Yeah, so I think I do. I think I keep Leia so that I can play the Fighters for Freedom this turn. Okay, so the Seasoned Shore Trooper can now easily trade with my Spec Force Soldier. Vader's ability can't be used yet. Once he deploys a villainy unit, he can use Vader's ability to ping off one of my guys, which is annoying but cannot really be helped. Um, so we'll see what my opponent does here. Also, this would be a great opportunity for Energy Conversion Lab Super Laser Technician, classic combo in this game. Yeah, here comes ECL, Super Laser Tech. Yep, that's right. Super Laser Technician ambushes the Spec Force Soldier, gets him off the field. Makes a temporary resource. My opponent now has Vader's ping available. I'm going to go ahead and swing in with the Wing Leader before he gets pinged off. If I had another Wing Leader, I would be able to use that to... Did I resource a Wing Leader? I did not. Okay. I would, if I had another Wing Leader, I would have been able to use that to buff this Wing Leader. My opponent pushes damage to the base there. So what I'm going to do... I think I have to save Leia because she can just easily get killed. We're going to use Sabine, 1 damage to each base. My opponent probably uses Vader, kills the Wing Leader, 1 damage to my base. Yep, that's right. Man, I'm really vacillating on this Leia Defiant Princess play. My opponent won't have Vader this turn. We're gonna deploy Sabine for now. This part's obvious. Opponent takes the initiative in for 3. Then, I think we do have to do it. So I'm gonna do Leia Defiant Princess, ready a resource, and then play the Fighters for Freedom. And I'm just trying to get a bigger board here, and I've sort of been let down. I could get hit by, oh man, I could get hit by an overwhelming barrage. That feels so bad. I have a Spark of Rebellion, so I'm gonna resource the Wing Leader here, I think. And maybe I can Spark of Rebellion my opponent here. I have Spark of Rebellion and I have For a Cause. I'm not feeling great about this. This is a really favored matchup for me normally, but I had a slow start and I am worried that I'm not going to be able to get there. We'll have to see. Okay. Opponent has the initiative. Let's see what happens. If he has a barrage and he uses it immediately, he can kill Fighters for Freedom and Leia, and I don't have a lot of counterplay there. Hopefully he does not have it. Or he does something else at first and allows me to use Spark of Rebellion on him. Nice, he doesn't have it. Or if he does, he chose not to use it, which is to my advantage. Takes the kill on my Seasoned Shore Trooper instead. I think I think now I Spark of Rebellion. Let's see his hand. Just want to see what he's got. And remove. He types dot dot dot. Oh, okay. Goodbye, resupply. Vader will not be deploying this turn. He does have an Emperor Palpatine, but that's not going to be able to deploy immediately either. I guess his best move here is to deploy Fifth Brother. Um, my opponent says, "Well played. I learned something." Yeah, the Spark of Rebellion there felt really good. Um, so Fifth Brother takes the field. This card is actually really good. So 3 cost 2/4, gains raid 1 for each damage on him. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to this unit and 1 to another ground unit. I will just go for the base. My opponent can use Vader's ping here, of course. So if he uses Vader's ping, he can deal 1 damage to Leia, 1 damage to my base. Uh, then that will allow him to attack with Fifth Brother and use the ability to kill Leia, or use Vader's ping Leia. Or he could ping Sabine, and then he can kill Sabine with Fifth Brother. That actually makes more sense. And that's what he goes for. So I'm gonna just keep focusing on the base. For a cause I believe in. 1, miss, 2. Okay, so I know my opponent has an Emperor Palpatine. I'm going to get rid of this Spark of Rebellion, though, because my hope is to kill him on this turn. Then we're going to get rid of... Okay, so let's think this through. What I want to do is play the Surprise Strike that will deal 5 damage to the opposing base. Um, then I can play the For a Cause. So I'm going to discard the Fleet Lieutenant here. We'll leave those 2 on top. Um, and yeah, okay, cool. Draw 2. So I know what I'm going to have this turn. I can do Surprise Strike plus 4. I should probably have discarded this Sabine. I just realized I didn't think that properly. I should have discarded this Sabine. I forgot I was going to play the Surprise Strike, which costs 2. Okay, so my opponent should lead off by having Leia defeat, or by having Fifth Brother defeat Sabine. If he doesn't do that, I sort of just win. Okay, no, he's gonna open fire on Sabine instead. I think that's sort of a waste because he can kill Sabine anyway. If he uses Fifth Brother, deals 1 damage to himself. That puts him up to 3 damage, 1 damage to Sabine. So that would get the kill. But that's fine. So surprise strike the base with Leia, so that's 5 damage. Okay. I'm gonna play For a Cause I Believe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, that's basically game because now I can just use Sabine's ability at the start of the next turn and win. I discard everything except the Falcon. Put the Falcon on top of the deck. Take the initiative. And it's basically over unless my opponent has healing in hand, because Sabine's ability just wins the game. Vader deploys. Hmm. Next turn, it's over. I guess I resource this Sabine, who's not going to do anything, but yeah, just use Sabine and that's game. Okay, so that was a interesting win there. So Spark of Rebellion ended up being pretty key by depriving my opponent of the resupply that he needed to get Vader out that one turn earlier. And then the reach cards there finished things off, even though my opponent was stabilizing with For a Cause I Believe in, getting a lot of value. So, you know, even though I misplayed it slightly and should have discarded that Sabine, ended up going well. He says, I really don't know what to do against this deck. Yeah, so we're just doing some strategic chat, and I point out ramping is very dangerous against this, very risky to resupply. I need a early board. And my opponent says, okay, I love the ramp decks. Yeah. I think that I do think if you're playing a ramp deck, Sabine is going to be a problem for you. Sabine is very, very aggro, one of the fastest aggro decks right now. And ramping is just, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do another round here, I think, with we're gonna do another round here of Vader versus Sabine. This time, I guess my opponent goes first. I will. Okay, so I could go to. Okay, so let's see here. So going to space. The problem with going to space is my opponent has Imperial Interceptor, which is really good. So that like is potentially giant value in the space arena. Um, but the advantage of going space is that I dodge the ECL ambush. But I'm gonna deploy Sabine anyway, so I can't dodge it all the time. Um, yeah, think I think I'm gonna resource this. Ah man, but if he has the initiative. If he plays Viper Probe Droid, I want to play the X-Wing. Okay, so we're gonna keep both the X-Wing and Sabine. We're gonna resource Red 3. Red 3 is a good card, but it gets countered too hard by the Imperial Interceptor. We're gonna resource the Spark of Rebellion. And then so I'm gonna go to the arena that my opponent's not in. If my opponent deploys a unit that is, oh no, he only has a Snowtrooper Lieutenant, 2 cost 2/2. When played, you may attack with a unit. If it's an Imperial unit, it gets a +2 for this attack. So under those circumstances, I'm just going to play Sabine, who is better than the Snowtrooper Lieutenant. Um, use Sabine's ability when my opponent takes the initiative, draw 2. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have another Super Laser Technician, or another Snowtrooper Lieutenant, which would be annoying. So we're gonna resource the X-Wing, because I want to dodge Imperial Interceptor here since it's such a strong counter card. Sure. Um, I can play the Falcon in space, which doesn't die to an interceptor. Okay, my opponent attacks the base. This is not, in my opinion, correct. You really need to focus on stabilizing, but that's okay. I'll do 3 to the base. The thing is, you're just not going to win. I should probably point this out to the opponent after this. You're just not going to win a race against Sabine. It's not really a very realistic game plan, in my opinion. Okay, so we see Fifth Brother as well. I'm going to bring out, let's see, if I bring out Fighters for Freedom, Fifth Brother can kill them. But if he does that, he is not, well, yeah, he could kill Fighters for Freedom with Fifth Brother, but if he does that, he's not killing Sabine. The other option would be to play the Falcon. I think I like the Fighters for Freedom played better. So Fighters for Freedom hits the field. 3 cost 3/4 Saboteur. When you play another aggression card, you may deal 1 damage to a base. My opponent takes the initiative. I'll use Sabine, and then we're going to go on to the next turn. I have a lot of these Spec Force soldiers, but they are potentially really good, so I'm going to keep them. If my opponent plays a Sentinel, my play this turn is going to be Falcon plus Spec Force soldier. If my opponent does not play a Sentinel, I'm going to go for K2. Okay, so Fifth Brother can attack and kill my Fighters for Freedom, which is a notable issue. That's probably the best play for my opponent to do. So he can attack, deal 1 damage to himself, 1 damage to Fighters for Freedom. Then he has Raid 1 because he has 1 damage on himself. That will allow him to deal 4 damage to the Fighters for Freedom and remove them. However, if he does that, he will be defeated himself because the 1 damage he does means that he'll take 3 from the Fighters for Freedom in retaliation. He could also attack Sabine and remove her without being defeated himself. He could even do 1 damage to himself, attack Sabine, do the other 1 damage to the Fighters for Freedom to weaken them for future attacks. That's maybe the best move. I'm not sure. We'll see what my opponent does. Ooh, okay. Vader's lightsaber, giving +3, +1 to the fifth brother. That's a good example of the type of thing that I just am not really, that would be really concerning to me if I were trying to fight for board, but I'm not. So, attack the base. He does 2 damage to Sabine here. I think that's also really not very good, because it means I get to do more damage to base. He's going to ping off Sabine. Okay. He will be able to kill my Sabine Ran Explosives Artist if and when I deploy her. But with that in mind, we're going to slow roll it. 1 damage to each base. My opponent passes, yeah, so he's trying to wait out Sabine. So what we're going to do is we're going to just annoy him, I think. So we're going to play the Falcon. Play a Spec Force Soldier, activate Fighters for Freedom, 1 damage to the enemy base. And my opponent passes here, so I'm actually just going to take the initiative. This is the disadvantage of like passing like crazy like this is that it allows your opponent to take the initiative, and ultimately I think gain more of an advantage than you gained. So he could have attacked and defeated Sabine as soon as she deployed. My solution was to just not deploy Sabine, and then we're going to be just pushing damage to the enemy base. Um, we're going to see probably Overwhelming Barrage here now. That's going to do a lot of damage. That's going to be, what is that? 5, 6, 7 damage. So he could kill Falcon plus Spec Force Soldier. Okay, so yeah, he kills Falcon plus Spec Force Soldier and does 1 damage there. That's annoying for me, but it could be worse. So I'm going to deploy K2 and 1 damage to base. Yep, and my opponent types GG. GG. I think that waiting for Sabine was quite bad. I think it would have been the problem with that is that I can just not deploy her and take the initiative. Um, yeah, so my opponent hits the base for 7, and but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's basically over. Sabine, 1 to each base. And yeah, it is all kinds of over because all I have to do is play this for a cause I believe in my hand or have K2 die and the game immediately ends. So my opponent will not even get a chance to deploy Vader. He is playing it out instead of just immediately ending the game. But even if he has another barrage, he can do 7 damage. He can kill my Fighters for Freedom. He can kill, but he has to completely prevent me from doing anything. So yeah, at this point he does just pack it in. Yeah, he has another barrage. He gets to Yeah, he can kill fighters, kill Sabine, and then K2 blows up the base. Okay. Um, All right, let's do one more of these. I was just giving a little advice with respect to focusing on the units. And okay, let's look at this hand. So what we can do here is, so that's probably resource so my opponent's going first. So we want to resource one Leia Defiant Princess. And then I guess we resource K2. No, we resource the other Leia Defiant Princess. Well, yeah, we resource the other Leia Defiant Princess. So then what I'm going to be able to do this turn is I can go to the arena that my opponent's not in if he has a threatening early game unit. I can then turn 2 go for the Falcon, turn 3 go for K2. That's a fairly, just basic progression, but could work well, and I might be able to draw into something even better, like maybe we see the Fleet Lieutenant or the Wing Leader. We are going to do a third game here. Okay, so my opponent has the Death Star Stormtrooper, one cost 31. This is a really good unit for my opponent in the ground arena, so we're going to have to go to space to dodge it. So the Alliance X-Wing shows up here. Um, Vader's ability used, one damage to the X-Wing, one damage to base. So I am going to, my opponent could play an open fire to kill the X-Wing, but I'm actually fine with that, so I'm going to use Sabine's ability. Opponent takes the initiative. The reason I'm fine with that is because the X-Wing just isn't really all that good. So let's see here. So this turn yeah, Lothal Insurgent, Sabine. I probably want to play the Falcon this turn, so we're going to go like that. Let's see how this goes. One interesting thing about this game is that you can't sideboard bases. So I have a 30 HP base. The reason that I'm playing that instead of the Jeddah City is to do better in aggro mirrors. Um, but I would totally be playing. Okay, so my opponent passes, so he's waiting for his Death Star Stormtrooper to try to clear whatever I play on the ground. I'm going to attack with the Alliance X-Wing. These passing tactics I don't think are very effective. Um, being Yeah, my opponent but maybe maybe he has an open fire and he's waiting to use that. If he has an open fire for this Falcon, I think those are actually pretty good. Yeah, he has it. So the problem with this though is that his passing tactics mean that I get the initiative. He should have just probably just attacked me with his Stormtrooper, but I guess he was trying to keep his options open on the ground. Okay, so the slightly good thing about having the Falcon get killed is that it means that I don't have to pay the upkeep cost for the Falcon. So this turn, what we're going to do is attack immediately with the X-Wing to avoid potentially losing value to an Imperial Interceptor here. And then I'm going to be able to deploy Sabine this turn. We're probably going to we can do K2, we can do Falcon. There are definitely some options. I think I'd probably play K2 here, but we do Sabine first. Okay, opponent passes again. We're gonna just deploy Sabine. If he has like Snow Trooper Lieutenant or Force Choke to kill Sabine, if he has it, he has it. Yeah, Force Choke on Sabine. Okay. Um, that will allow me a card draw. So then I can play, yeah, so I think I go Falcon here because K2 would be very vulnerable to him using Vader's ping and then attacking with the Death Star Trooper. He plays another Death Star Trooper, base for 3. Take the initiative. See, these passing tactics are hurting my opponent's ability to take the initiative. Um, ping on the X-Wing. 2. Okay, so he pings the Falcon instead. So to me, that signals that he has an interceptor and is going to use that on the Falcon. So in order to counteract that, how do we want to do this? So red three is very vulnerable to interceptors, but if he already has one, no, it wouldn't be worth it to play it because he could ambush the interceptor and kill both. So I can't play red three. So red three is going to get resourced here. I'm going to have to pay one to keep the Falcon in play. I do have the initiative though, so because of this, my first attack is going to be with the Falcon rather than being with the X-Wing because I think he has an interceptor for the Falcon based on his play with Vader. Okay, so this time he is pushing damage to base instead of passing, which is better for him. I am going to, yeah, I'm going to surprise strike his base with the X-Wings. That's going to be 5 damage. And then I'm going to bring out Unit Sabine. Okay, so he's continuing. This time the pass is more reasonable because it's going to allow this stormtrooper to attack Sabine. But he actually uses his ECL. Okay, super laser tech gives him a resource. I will take the initiative. He can then use Vader's ping to clear Sabine, but he actually uses a resupply instead. Oh, that's clever. So now he's going to be able to play Vader. Okay, you should really, really, really kill my units. Um, Oh, and I forgot to play. I could have played Medal Ceremony here. Oh well. Yeah, I could have played Medal Ceremony here, which would get this X-Wing out of range of Vader's move. So that was actually a bit of a mistake on my part. I still have the Falcon. I think I can still win, but it's going to be a little dicey. Nice, double for a cause. Oh, baby. Well, that's gonna, I think, lock up a win for me. Um, or wait. I can only play one of them because I have to pay for the Falcon. Let's see. So I do want to pay for the Falcon. We're gonna take the guaranteed damage here. So we'll do Falcon for 3. For a cause wins the game immediately if I hit all 4, and if it hits 3, I can use Sabine to win the game. So 5 to base, 2 to the Falcon. For a cause I believe in. Let's go, reach cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. GG. It's one hit KO. The This deck is very, very optimized for a cause I believe in. I only have 3 cards in the deck that are not I only have 3 cards in the deck that are not heroic. Um but yeah, so I only have 3 cards in the deck that are not heroic, and they're the 3 surprise strikes. So I have a actually pretty good shot of getting all 4 damage. And also if I missed on one of those and did 3 damage, I could use Sabine's ability to close the game. All right. I did misplay it slightly by not using that medal ceremony, which allowed him to clear out my X-Wing and made things a little closer than they had to be, but was ultimately still able to get the win. And we're gonna do one more. Let's see how this match goes. This is a decent hand. Yeah, I can go. Well, it's a little heavy on small stuff, but I can go to ground or space. Yeah, we're gonna keep this hand and see how this goes. My opponent leads off with the Stormtrooper, so we are going to dodge that arena with the Alliance X-Wing. Ping on the X-Wing. Sabine's ability used, 1 damage to each base. Opponent takes the initiative, we'll draw up. Nice. Falcon. Falcon seems like a very reasonable card to play here. This Spark of Rebellion could come in handy. We're going to resource the Lothal Insurgent. Um, okay. Opponent plays Fifth Brother. Okay. I am going to deal 2 damage to the base with my Alliance X-Wing. Passing tactics in use again. Sabine's ability, 1 to each base. So now I can. The question is, do I want to go on the ground? No, I just want to reinforce my space arena. So we're going to play the Falcon. My opponent should now attack my base because he knows that I'm not going to be playing anything to the ground arena. Yep, there we go. I'm going to attack in there. Opponent takes the initiative. I will. Ooh, okay. So a wing leader here. We get my Alliance X-Wing out of range of an Imperial Interceptor. That's a very reasonable card to play. I am going to probably. So Sabine can deploy this turn. I'm going to resource this Sabine. I could deploy her and have her be unable to be attacked pretty easily. Um, but no, I think the resource that I want to spend is I think the resources that I'm going to want to spend is a wing leader. Okay, open fire on the Falcon, very reasonable. So now we're going to do yeah, wing leader buff Alliance X-Wing. My opponent cannot ping off the wing leader because open fire is not villainy. So then 4 damage to base. Another pass. Sabine. We'll bring out Sabine. Hits Sabine with Fifth Brother. Does a lot of damage. Sabine can now be defeated. And we're going to. So Fifth Brother can now swing for 5, so you could swing for 8, which is actually a lot. But under the circumstances, pushing for the base is more important. I don't think my opponent has another play. Yeah, so trade's there. So I could Metal Ceremony to buff my X-Wing, so that would give it +1. The main advantage of playing the Metal Ceremony is that it would take it out of range of a. So if I play Metal Ceremony, he can't open fire my X-Wing. That's the main benefit. But I think I would rather take the initiative than play a Metal Ceremony for relatively low value. We may be able to play it on this next turn. Ooh, okay, so I'm gonna want to probably Spark of Rebellion him this turn. To, yeah, see if I can get rid of a yeah, because if he has a barrage, he can do a lot of damage. Ah, man. So if he has a barrage, he could well, but the so he can only do 4 damage with a barrage. It would kill the X-wing, but it wouldn't kill the wing leader. Um, I think what we do is we just swing. I can Spark of Rebellion him later. So swing for 4. Just thinking about what to do. I'm gonna try to swing with the wing leader next, and then play my Metal Ceremony to buff the wing leader out of range of Han's ping, or of Vader's ping rather. I said Han's ping. Okay, so it looked like he was playing a cell block guard, but he rethinks it. Okay, he intercepts the wing leader. That's very reasonable. Um, so what I'm going to do is, let's see here. Um, yeah, we'll play for a cause. One, try another for a cause. Okay, so I do hit a surprise strike, which I can't play. Bamboozle and Spark. So 3 damage, and we're gonna put another for a cause I believe in right on top of the deck. So that's gonna be a good game. Vader used here. I'm going to play the Spec Force Soldier. Opponent trades. I take the initiative. And no counters available. That is game. I don't have to do anything. All I do is swing on in. All right, we did it. We did it. Got 3 wins there against Vader. I think this is a very unfavorable matchup for Vader, to be fair to my opponent. But yeah, the Sabine aggro against Vader ramp. Vader does have some things that he can do to try to stabilize. He has some relevant plays, but the Sabine is just too fast for him. Vader is playing a long game plan, and it does not work against Sabine's aggression. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for this one, guys. 3 victories with Sabine Yellow versus a Vader Ramp. I will have my Sabine deck list in the video description below. Thanks to you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys later.